Hi, everyone. I'm Adam McDowell with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Chicago. I'm here today with Jessica Leving. She started the Center for Siblings of People with Disabilities. It's a newer nonprofit, and it really came out of your own experience growing up, right?
Yeah, I did. So thanks so much again for having me. My younger brother Billy has autism, and I really started the whole idea kind of came about when I was in high school, and my brother was getting services from a local like therapy agency, and they asked my mom if I might be interested in putting something together for them to use with siblings, because they were having a lot of brothers and sisters of kids with disabilities coming in and having some like behavioral challenges and emotional challenges, and they really didn't have a lot of resources. So yeah, the initial version of the book started then and was kind of just like a side family project for a long time. And just the past about a year and a half or so have really, we had the book published for real, and then launched a podcast, and recently launched our nonprofit, the Center for Siblings of People with Disabilities. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind and a lot of fun.
So you've got you have this nonprofit, and so you mentioned some of the things you do along with that. So you've got the podcast. Tell us, what do you cover on the podcast? How is it different from what you have in that book and other resources?
Yeah, so the book is a children's book. It's a picture book. It's geared towards kids 3 to 8, and we have heard some older kids find that it resonates too, but it's really geared towards that 3 to 8 age range. And it's based on my experience growing up with my brother. It's called Billy's Sister, so it's very much rooted in my own experience. Although we did also add some scenes that were based on what we heard from therapists and parents that would really be reflective of what other kids were going through. But after the book was published, I had a huge amount of interest from parents asking what else they could do, what other resources were out there. And I did not know, I had not heard of any. And people were asking me very specific questions about, well, here's the situation with my kids and what should I do? And I was like, well, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a social worker, I don't know. But my background is in journalism and marketing, and I have a vested interest in this. So figured, what can I do to really add value and help get some more information to these parents so they can help their kids. And so we started the podcast to really be able to answer those questions. And I've been interviewing psychologists, researchers, parents, siblings. I was telling you before, we had a 5-year-old on the show, which was kind of fun. And then we've also had, older siblings, adult siblings, high schoolers of all ages really coming on to share their experiences. So it's a mix. We really want it to be a mix of highlighting sibling stories to give voice to what siblings are experiencing across age ranges,
Mhm.
and then be able to have some psychologists come on and talk about what can parents do to make the experience easier, what can parents do to help set their kids up for success, both as young kids going on to future planning, talking about care after parents can't care for their adult kids anymore. What can you do to set up siblings to be able to manage future issues, as well as talking to other therapists who are, gearing their advice towards older siblings who may be feeling, continuing to suffer from anxiety or depression or uncertainty about the future, and talking about what those adult siblings can do to manage some of that. So it's been fun.
It's an issue. We were talking, my wife relates to your story as well. And so we were talking a little bit about, it's not just growing up with a sibling with a disability, it's like having all that internalized feelings and things like that. There's so many topics and so many facets of that carry on from, like you said, from childhood on through the rest of life, your life and your siblings' life.
Absolutely. And we do see, the research on siblings is very new. There's a growing but small body of research. And it is documented that siblings of people with disabilities have higher rates of anxiety and depression. And we're just on the cusp of understanding why and how to help. And, it's something that we don't realize that kids are taking so much in when they're really young, because they're not always asking for help. And we really see in those adult siblings suddenly starting to process in a therapist's office, or once they have kids of their own, realizing like, oh, I never really learned to process anger or
Mhm.
guilt or different things that may just kind of last from childhood, and you don't know until suddenly you're 35 or 40 and feeling confused and frustrated. So we really, really want to be helping those younger kids. We want to provide resources for adults as well, but fortunately, there are already some more resources out there for adults. So we really want to focus on what we can do for early intervention,
Mhm.
to really kind of change the trend on that statistic, and give parents the tools to help their kids at a younger age so that they don't develop anxiety and depression, and can really have a successful experience.
Mhm. So right now, you're not able to do the same in-person activities that you had been doing. You're touring with the book and doing some in-person readings, right?
Yeah, so we have been doing a couple of readings and story times, and we also we've developed kind of an art event and kind of activity that goes with the book. So we were going around and doing like story time / art sessions. And we were really just in the process of ramping those up and developing some local community partnerships when coronavirus hit. So that put a little bit of a wrench in those plans.
Mhm.
Um, but we did offer a couple weeks ago a Zoom story time and draw along session, which was really fun. And I was really excited to see how interactive we were still able to be on Zoom. And we put together some handouts that kids printed in advance, and everyone was like holding up their sheets to the camera. It was very cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to doing more of those, and we're also working on putting together some peer support groups that we can do on Zoom as well.
Cool. So if someone wants more information, where can they find you online?
Yeah, so our website is siblingcenter.org, and we also are very active on our Facebook page, which you can find at the Center for Siblings of People with Disabilities. And of course, the link is also on our website. But yeah, we post all of our updates to Facebook frequently, so you can check out if we're going to do another Zoom session, it'll be on there. And then our podcast is available. It's called the Special Siblings Podcast, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, it should be available. And of course, our book, Billy's Sister, is for sale on Amazon.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Jessica, for all your time talking about. I think it's a great nonprofit, and like I said, my wife resonates with her a lot. So look forward to being able to support you moving forward. My name is Adam McDowell with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Chicago, your path to home, and parkbench.com/North Center. Thank you all for watching.